morning, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Morning Prep video for Thursday, June 18th. FOMC meeting concluded. Janet Yellen had put out a speech, and the market goes nowhere. We actually did get a little bit of volatility, as expected, but at the end of the day, we ended up putting in some indecision candles, doji candles, and we're up right now in the pre-market nicely, not bad, about four and a half handles in the ES in the Globex section. But very tricky. Today's going to be a tricky day, I'll tell you. I would think, and I would suspect that we still get an update today for the quadruple witching. A lot of these bigger firms and fund managers, money managers, hedge funds, they're all going to be squaring off positions for the quadruple witching. Usually is a day or two earlier. So today should be a pretty decent day, and I would suspect that we would get another trend day to the upside. But with lack of conviction yesterday, I want to see how this day unfolds, at least in the early morning when the market just opens up right within the first 15 minutes or so, and see where this market may be headed for the day. So I do look to see some strength today, tomorrow, and then pretty much flatline in pretty much tomorrow afternoon. Always on a Friday, you have that lack of liquidity right around lunchtime, and then kind of fades into the end of the day. So really you have a good trading day today, which we're hoping, and then maybe an hour or two on Friday. Okay, coming into next week, and I mentioned several videos ago that we are coming into some seasonal strength for 3 weeks, June 27th right around to July 17th. Markets usually up around 1.27% in the last 20 years, which are pretty good statistics. So I feel that I'd like to see a little bit of weakness next week or so, and then look to buy some good quality names on dips into support, and then see if we can get a nice pop going into that into those 3 weeks of strength. But again, anything could happen, anything could change. As you know, we have the Fed in the headlines, and of course Greece back in the headlines now, kind of holding the markets hostage back and forth. So anything could happen, and anything could change at any given moment. So just keep that in mind. All right. So what I'm looking for here is any clues that maybe the market has topped. Want to go through the banks, which you could see in front of you, the XLF, and as you can see here, pretty kind of boring actually. Yes, we are above that 25 area, but with really no conviction. We need to see is really take out that 25, 25, 20, kind of separate from that 25 area resistance, which is now support, and bring that right back up in here. So that's going to be that major resistance area. Okay, now I showed you that in a weekly chart. That 25 was pretty big area of resistance, which we needed to break. Now we did break that. Let me just see if I can get that out there. Okay, so we did break it ever so slightly. Here's the weekly chart, but really, you can see here there's no conviction here. We really need to break out, hold for a couple of weeks, and then start elevating higher. But again, time will tell. So the banks are holding in there, obviously, because rising yield costs, banks are going to do quite well. Now, I mentioned the XLI and the XLK. The XLI is the industrials. Here's a 60-minute chart, and I showed it to you. Actually, I mentioned it. I didn't show you the chart, but I wanted to show it to you today. Here's a head and shoulders pattern at 55.20. Now, this is a bearish pattern, but only bearish when we break and close below the neckline of 55.20. Okay, and then we still need a back test, sort of like a bear flag into that neckline before we really enter to get short. Okay, but wanted just to let you know this is what I'm looking at right now. The XLI, it is 30% weighted in the S&P, so that's going to be a major factor. If the industrials start to break down, so will the S&P, right? So I just want you to keep an eye on that. XLK also has a head and shoulders pattern. I don't have that for you today, and that is also hasn't broken down yet, and broken through the neckline area. So we need to see this hold if we want to go higher. Okay. Now here's the spiders. Spiders right here again, going nowhere. You can see, you can count how many days. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks that we just gap up in the morning, one move and go sideways. Although we did have a nice trending day 2 days ago, which we got all spoiled about, right? And then now we're back to chop again. Here's the big long-legged doji indecision candle. We'll look for the high or the low. Should be an important factor today, because if we take out the low, we'll take out this lower support, trendline support here of this ascending triangle, and then that would probably bring some more downside pressure. But we'll need to see what's going to happen today. Again, I'm suspecting that we're going to rally today, but the markets are on fragile footing, guys. I'm telling you this right now. Again, anything could change, but it does look like the markets want to head lower, but it's not heading lower. One of the bigger factors here is the IWM top dog of all the 5 indices has been holding in quite well, and as you can see here, trying to break out. If this does break out, I mean, with meaningful conviction, it'll probably hold any type of selling in the marketplace and rally the markets again. We do have this canary in the coal mine, which is the transports. I'll show you that in a moment, but the transports continue to get weak. FedEx came out with earnings yesterday. That didn't help the sector as well. So here's the diamonds. You can see, again, guys, just a lot of chop. Still below the 20 and the 50, so this is also weak, the Dow Industrials. So if we start to break down, I do suspect a pretty quick selling, some selling pressure here. And again, not a correction at the moment, but pullbacks turn into corrections. Remember that. Here's the culprit right here, the transports. As you can see, we had another doji right into this big area of support. This has to hold, and we got to get back above it, and the back above the 20 to alleviate some of this downside pressure. Okay, I'd like to see it get back way above here to 155.14, but that hasn't done so yet. And again, with FedEx weakening, that could be a little bit of trouble for equities. Okay, lastly is the Qs. You can see here back above this ascending triangle, and I do like the fact that we're about above the 50 and below the 20, but we need to start making some moves. We're still making lower lows and lower highs, as you can see here. Okay, so again, I do think the markets are a little weak. Can't find any footing. 2100 seems to be gravitating up and down on the ES contract. So I'd like to see where we go from here. Today, tomorrow, we're going to be kind of skewed, so you really don't know about the shorter term trend until next week. So let's get through today, let's get through tomorrow, looking for upside pressure, buying any pullbacks again, going into the first hour or so. But we're gonna let the markets open first and see where this market wants to be headed. Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Just a quick admin note: no video tomorrow, but I will have a full update on Monday. Have a great weekend, all.